everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a reading experiment I did a few weeks ago that I titled #ReadingAfter10. Basically, after my master's program, I realized that I had forgotten how to read consistently. I would sometimes remember to pick up my book, but I just wasn't doing it daily like I used to. So I was trying to rack my brains on how to trick myself into remembering that habit that I had, and I decided to do #ReadingAfter10. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the experiment, how I did it, why I did it. I kind of just told you why I did it, but how I did it and how it turned out, in case this might be helpful or interesting to you. Before I begin, I'd like to thank our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace, for supporting what I'm doing out here. And also, before I start, I just wanted to give a really, really huge thank you to everyone who responded to my last video. It was such a vulnerable, scary, nerve-wracking thing for me to post, asking for help. And the response was incredible. You guys filled my heart with so much love, but also with your generosity are allowing me to make so many interesting projects for you through supporting my Patreon. You all blew me away, and I'm so thankful. So if you want to check out my Patreon page, I'll link it down below if you want to become a part of this beautiful family that we have growing over there. But let's get into it. So, this is my bullet journal that I stopped bullet journaling in long ago. I wonder how many bullet journals lie abandoned. I think so many people, like a year ago or 2 years ago when bullet journaling was huge, everyone bought a bullet journal and then everyone ditched them. So I just use this as kind of a random journal now. But I had this written in it. This was my night reading experiment page. So, the rules. Number 1, at 10 p.m., put your phone away and read. Number 2, I can read anything. I didn't have to read the same book over and over again. I didn't have to read books necessarily. I could read anything. And 3, I can't go back on my phone after reading. The reason that I put this rule in is because of 2 things. The first is that I didn't want myself to just read for half an hour and then finish reading and just go back on my phone. I didn't want to be okay, I read for 10 minutes, that counts, that's enough, I can go on my phone again. And the second thing is because I thought maybe this experiment could also help me with my habit of going on my phone before bed. It's always the last thing I check. I do a little Instagram check, I do a little YouTube check, and I'm always I should not be filling my mind with these things right before bed. It'd be better to just read and then go to sleep. So I thought that could be what I did. It's not what happened. So let us reflect. So the first thing, I'm in my pajamas, guys. We're all comfy here. This is also I feel the most YouTube-y background I've ever had. I just did it because I didn't want to set up the tripod, so I just put you on the desk, and it's kind of welcome to my makeup tutorial from my bed. What the heck was I saying? Yes. So, I was really excited about doing this project because I thought, one piece of advice that I give a lot of people when they always ask me, how do you read so much? How do I read more? And I always say, pick a time and read at that time every single day. So I was like, Ariel, you need to follow your own advice because you're in a rut. You're in a hole. So, I thought reading before bed is the only time that I can guarantee I have some alone, quiet time. So, the first thing, I never started at 10. I always meant to start at 10. But, I always started by 10:30. So it wasn't that late, but it never actually worked that, I could stick to a perfect time. So I learned from that. I was kind of you know what? The actual time, I don't think specifically matters. It's just kind of more reading before bed was the more of the concept. But I did like having a specific time when I was kind of I shouldn't be doing anything else. I should be trying to read, because it kind of made me want to read a bit more. Yeah, I would always be trying to finish a project or some work, or be brushing my teeth or whatever. So that didn't work perfectly. The second thing, was that I read the same book the whole time. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but I found that I didn't want to hop between things. I was reading a great book. I'll grab it for you. I'll show it off. I was reading this book, Motherhood by Sheila Heti, and I was really enjoying it. So I didn't find myself wanting to, like, use that rule that I could read anything. I was like, I could read anything, but I just want to keep reading this because it was so excellent. I'm going to do a podcast episode about this book on my podcast, Books Unbound, because I just really enjoyed this a lot, and it really made me think a lot, too. Next observation. I never, and I mean never, not one of the 7 days, successfully didn't go on my phone afterwards. Every single time I went on my phone afterwards. So I think that doesn't really reflect on this project, because the goal, the point of this project was to just read as much as I could. And I did that, and it was to just read before bed every day, and I did that. That was like the real true goal. But I failed the goal of kind of like making it giving it a double meaning of let's not go on our phone anymore. Because I did. I would like finish reading and I'd be like really tired and I'd be like, okay, just want to do my final Instagram check. So I still did that, and I would like text my boyfriend before I went to bed. So I didn't defeat that challenge, fortunately. However, the next thing, maybe the most important thing, is that and it did not take long at all, by like the 3rd or 4th day, it became a habit. I literally was like, all right, 10 p.m. And then I'd be like, gotta go brush my teeth. So actually I start at 10:20 or something, but like, it doesn't take me 20 minutes to brush my teeth. I don't know why I said that. But you know, it'd be like 10:15. And I'd be like, okay, it's time for me to read. Gotta put this stuff away. And I was ready to get into my book. I loved it. I was really enjoying it. I found myself reading more. It worked. It genuinely worked. And if you look at my little tracker, I want to talk about the tracker. Shall we tangent into the tracker for a moment? I really don't believe in... How do I put this? I really don't believe in putting pressure on reading. Whether that for you is a like a yearly reading goal, or is whatever the heck it is. I can't think of examples anymore. But like, or like a monthly reading goal. Like, I need to read 7 books this month. Anything like that for me just adds so much pressure that stresses me out. So I don't think that that's positive for my personal reading. But for this specific experiment that only lasted a week, you know, I wasn't going to do this again. I don't track my reading every day. I don't want to track my reading every day. I just like reading in a bit of a nebulous, ambiguous cloud. But for this specific week, I just wanted to actually see, like, is this effective? Do I feel like I'm reading a lot, but I'm actually not? Or do I feel like I'm not reading anything, and then it turns out I do read a lot, etc.? So I decided to track it, and boom! I read nearly 200 pages, which is awesome. Because another thing that you'll see here is, because I'm sure I'm inserting some sort of a overlay, is that 2 of the days I didn't read at all. One of those days I went out with my brother, and I don't remember what happened. But yeah, these 2 days we went out and I didn't come home. I came home at like midnight or something, and I was like, okay, well, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed now. So I ended up not reading every single day, which was fine, because the next day I read a lot, you know? And so I'm glad I did this, just because it really proved to me in a numbers qualitative form that I read like 200 pages. That's really awesome. I read the majority of this book, and that really reminded me that it doesn't take that much reading to read a lot, right? Like, if you read 50 pages of a book every night or something, or even 30 pages of a book overnight, that adds up. Every week, you can easily finish a book by doing that if you read every night. And it really reminded me of the power of consistent reading. Yes, so I was telling you about Uh-oh. I went on my tangent, which was about the tracker. And I don't remember where that tangent originated. Anyways, I'll just move on as if I didn't just get everything. This was fun to do. I would never do a tracker again, like, unless I was doing, like, a specific reading experiment again, like, that would only last a few days or a week or something. I would never do that again, just because, like I mentioned, for me, it's just a little too much pressure. But for this one thing, it was fun. But, yeah, no, that's fine. Oh god, I've glitched. I'm trying to just do a casual one-take video, so I don't want to cut in here. So the other thing I wanted to say was that I was posting about this on Instagram. I did not think up this idea and think this will make a great video or this will make a great post or anything. I did it for myself. Just for me. But I thought it'd be fun to share it online and just on my Instagram. I use my Instagram stories a lot. I really enjoy the casual nature of the Instagram story. So I was like, yeah, I'll just message everyone and be like, guys, I'm doing this little project. If you want to join me, use the hashtag reading after 10. And I was so excited by all of the people that joined in on the project. That was really nice for me. It was similar to like when I host the Booktubeathon, where it's just really nice to think of us all reading together at kind of the same time. I was really like inspired because everyone was posting pictures to their Instagram and pictures to their Instagram stories saying hashtag reading after 10. This is the book I'm reading. A lot of people were like, I'm not actually reading at 10, I'm reading after 9 because that's my bedtime, or reading at 11 because that's when I can read, or whatever. But like, reading after 10 is more of a concept than a specific rule or a specific time. It's not really about 10 p.m. as I so evidently proved, because every single time it was like 10:30 or 10:45 or 10:20 or whatever. But it was more just this concept of reading before bed. So I guess my final thing I'd say is just that it worked really well. I'm really glad that I did it. It really proved to me that chipping away at reading every single day helps solidify reading as a habit, and that's what you need to read consistently, and that too, it reminded me how much I love reading consistently. You know, it reminded me that it can be a habit of mine, and that when it is, I'm super happy. I've been thinking a lot about this concept of habits and habitual reading, and this idea that, like, I don't know, I think people overthink it a little bit, and they're like, how can I read more? Like, reading just isn't a part of my daily life. And I'm like, think about the things that are a part of your daily life. I would guess that YouTube, like just watching YouTube videos, is a part of your daily life, or watching television shows is a part of your daily life. Those things are not like a part of your daily life because that's like ingrained in your instinctual mindset, or because that's the way that humanity was raised to be. No, it's only that way because you're used to it. You're used to watching TV at dinner or when you're bored. And so when you become bored, your brain thinks, what should we do? It looks at its usual options and it thinks, oh yeah, TV, we know how to do that. That's easy. We know that because it's a habit. We know that because it's a common choice. But like, if you choose reading, if you give your mind reading as one of those quick options, it can easily start to learn that. And then when you're bored, you'll be like, oh, I'll read. Just as easily as you'll watch TV. So, experiment a success. The only final problem I'll mention is that I haven't been doing it since I did it. So I kind of need to be more active about it. But I'm going to start posting about it on Instagram again. I think I'm just going to keep this up as a part of my reading life. So if you want to use the hashtag, please do. Before I go, I just want to thank Squarespace once again for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform that you can use to create beautiful websites using a plethora of gorgeous templates that they have. I like supporting Squarespace because I use Squarespace. I have used them for years. It's a fantastic way to build a really powerful website that'll give you everything you need. So check them out. And if you use my code Squarespace/Ariel, you can get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, which is awesome. So thank you to Squarespace. And like I said, thank you to everyone who has supported me on Patreon. You're all the best. All right, until the next time. Also, if you're going to be in Toronto this weekend, I'm going to be there showing my documentary. So come join me if you want. Details down below. Okay, bye guys.